All right, it says we're live. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shay. We are here to do some world building stuff this morning. It is a gorgeous day here today. I am delighted by all of the sunshine and the warmth, and I think it's going to be great to spend some time just working on my world before I run a game tonight. In very joyful news, my husband finally has arrived home from his year-long deployment, so that is really exciting for me. And I am currently ignoring him in favor of doing my live stream. But that's okay. We're that kind of people, so it's just fine. So yeah, I wanted to do some world building this morning, and I'm deliberately focused on the Halcyon campaign right now. I have all of the planning for Gatto done that I need to do currently for the moment, but I'm moving into a different area with the Halcyon campaign, so need to do some work on that today. Good morning, my Stephanie. Uncharted territory. How are you, my darling? Yes, hooray for homecomings, indeed. Indeed. The video of my dog reuniting with my husband was pretty fabulous, I have to say. So we are the 14th today, and this is Feywild encounter charts. And the red marker. So yeah, super excited that you guys are here. This is awesome. So let me show you what I got started already and then kind of explain what I'm hoping to accomplish today. So this is what I have started for my random encounter tables. Hello, Patrick. How are you, darling? So this is what I've got started so far. What I've been doing is going through the Tome of Beasts by Kobold Press, and I have been selecting all of the Fey creatures out of here that I want to use, which has given me this side and this side. So that's been pretty great. But I also want to flesh it out with some weather-related phenomenon and some geographical phenomena and just some magic phenomena. Like, you're in the Feywild, so things need to be just kind of surrealist in some ways. So I want to work on that. If you guys feel like helping me out with that today. Yeah, I know, right? The middle of May. Uncharted, you are not wrong. How can it be the middle of May? I don't know. Time has no meaning. It is all Jeremy Baramy for anybody who watches The Good Place. I don't understand the flow of time right now at all. So this is where I'm at right now. My goal is to have 20 random encounters per geographic area. So desert, light forest, heavy forest, oceans, mountains, plains. And then I've got caves, swamp, the winter court, the summer court, and civilized areas. So towns, villages, cities, that kind of thing. And then this was just faction stuff that I kind of had that I was sorting out. So yeah, this is where I'm at with the stuff. So I'm using the Tome of Beasts because one of my players has played D&D a fair amount and is fairly familiar with the monster manual, but has never seen the Tome of Beasts. So I'm hoping to kind of keep that a little bit separate for them so that they're surprised and don't necessarily know what to expect. Because I think that's important for veteran players just as much as for novice players. And yeah, so that's my thing. So let's have some fun just brainstorming things you could run into in the Feywild. I'm looking for tropes. I'm looking for, like I said, weather or magic or artifacts or people, plot lines, anything. Last night I had been thinking that like magic storms might be interesting, where these storms blow through that have different spell effects going on. Some of them could be negative, some of them could be positive. So like buffs. And then some of them just might be neutral or wild. Like they both grow feather beards or something like that. They weren't memorizing it exactly. They had just encountered a lot of it, that's all. Um, it definitely isn't their fault. When you play D&D long enough, you start to know what's there, right? So, I don't hold that against them. Okay, the sound of unseen giggling children in the fields. A magic sandstorm that turns you into a werehorse, that's awesome. Good morning, my Joe. How are you, darling? Yeah, the Unseelie Court for sure. That's the winter court for me. So I have a variety of plot lines going on for the winter court. The winter court is actually a really interesting point of crossover for me between the Halcyon campaign and the Gatto campaign because um, in the Halcyon campaign, Charles's character Arcus has been told he's a child of the summer court. He has no idea who his parents are. He was left on a church doorstep as a baby. But his character in the Gatto campaign, Kaiden, is a warlock whose patron is an archfey of the winter court. And so there's a little bit of back and forth about this. Um, so it's interesting to kind of see how these games are kind of starting to link up because they are in the same world. So singing in a minor key from Trees and Rocks, I like that. Does the singing have words or is it just wordless? Mushrooms that make you see John Malkovich. I love it. I'm pretty good, Joe. I was just saying that Dave is home and that's been a good thing so far. Honestly, you guys, it's like he never left. Like the last year might not have happened. It's been such a normal fit, like for the good and the bad. Like he's already leaving his stuff all over the house and I'm having to pick up after him and whatever. So it's just like, all right, I guess this is normal. But yeah. Let's say hallucinogenic mushrooms. Let's say hallucinogenic mushroom spores. Because then they're harder to avoid. Singing in a minor key from Trees and Rocks. I'm assuming that's your maybe, Uncharted. If they have words, I have to know what the words are in advance because I kind of love the idea of a tree singing Scarborough Fair in Sylvan. Like, that's really fun. Scarborough Fair. I like that. One of my characters, Lisa's character Daria, also just recently got the ability to speak, read, comprehend Sylvan, so that might be a fun little detail for her. Hello, the Laura. How are you, darling? Fairs are awesome. So what if they encounter a traveling fair or carnival? What all is in this fair? Let's brainstorm on this fair for a second. Maybe it is a fair of all of normal things that have been captured that have slipped into the Feywild. Because that might set up an interesting conundrum for my players in terms of having to rescue them. A goblin fair. Ooh, yes. Run by goblins. I like that. An owl bear named Dave. Okay, we got this. Owl bear named Dave. I'm going to tell Dave that. He's going to laugh his pants off. That's going to be so funny. Goblin run by goblins selling fruit. Is there something wrong with the fruit? The normal carnival. It's perfectly normal fruit. My players are not going to trust it at all. Selling fruit, normal fruit. CJan from accounting. Oh my god, I need posters. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Joe, we're trying to populate lists of random encounters for the Feywild in case you missed that part. I have charts of creatures that they're going to encounter, but I want to have 20 encounters per geographic area that I'm working out right now. So like we just need some random stuff that happens. Random magic fruit, roll to see what happens, hair change, facial change. Okay. So tree bearing magic fruit. Let's brainstorm 6 things that could happen with the magic fruit. So on a 1, hair changes color. Let's say it turns green. On a 2, eyes change color. Let's say they turn teal. On a 3, sprout fairy wings for 24 hours. And you gain fly. Skin color change and voice, Kate. Yes, you're absolutely right, Uncharted. If you eat things in the Feywild, it traps you there for sure, and that's something that I want to kind of keep in play. I'm gonna say that like you're trapped for a period of time related to like digestion or whatever. So if you continually eat from there, you have a harder time leaving. Because I want to kind of also have it so that like the bespellment of food is something that's a little bit restricted to the Arcfey. You sent me a PDF on Facebook of the traveling menagerie. Oh, thank you, Patrick. That's completely fabulous. 4 is a skin color change. We'll change it to lavender. A voice change. To the sound of underwater. And one more. Lay over to poop. I don't understand. I'm all for brochures of your imaginings. Always, always, Patrick. Tom Bottom. Still confused, Uncharted. Clarify for me, darling. Turn into an animal. Okay, I like that. How about, what's a good animal for the Feywild? Foxes? An air travel joke. Oh, okay. I follow. Turn into an animal. Let's say you turn into a pixie. Because they're really small fae. And then that again gives you fly, gives you the advantage of like getting into hard to reach places and stuff like that. That might be fun. A squirrel, yeah, no doubt. I was thinking kitsune. Pixie, kitsune. That would be kind of fun. All right, we can write more ideas for that squirrel. A brownie. That gives me a D4 right there, so that's perfect. All right. What else have we got? A singing well. Let's have a singing well. And let's have it be a singing well that sings dirty songs. So I'll need to research 2 or 3 songs. Bottom the donkey. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Bottom the donkey. What about Puck? Like, just in general. He's an old one. One of the oldest old ones. That might be fun. Alice in Wonderland, for sure. So let's put the blue caterpillar in there because I friggin' love him. We can also add the food and drink that enlarges and reduces. Oh, we can have a magical storm that animates inanimate objects. So suddenly, like, your backpack turns into a mimic. Oh, the twins. Yeah. The Tweedles. So Tweedles would be a great place for a riddle, like a riddle of passage. Maybe there's a hedge maze? Question mark? Something that changes the pitch of your voice. Yeah, I like that. Okay. What if they walk through a spider web and it changes the pitch of their voice? The spider curses you. I like the bread and butterflies from Alice in Wonderland too. I might need to rewatch the movie just to have something there. What else? Okay. Voice changes relative to elevation. And then Laura's suggestion was a hookah type thing that lets you float. An Andrew dung beetle that does nothing but complain to the party member. I like the idea of like them needing to help an ant or a dung beetle in that context. So there's more excuses for them to have to listen to the complaining. What kind of quest would an ant or a dung beetle have? And like what size are the ants or the dung beetle? Oh, the dear. Kind of an Eeyore type thing. Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. A 1-inch dung beetle. A 1-inch ant. Oof, 1-inch ants would be gnarly. Ow, ow, ow. The pain. Badoop, badoop, badoop. Maybe the ant queen has gone missing. Has been abducted. Get her back. And get passage through ant tunnels into one stronghold of your choice. Insects totally make the Feywild work. Absolutely. So the ants are 1 inch. The dung beetle is 2.5 inches. And what does the dung beetle want? The labor and logistics. Yeah, I like that. I think that's really fun. So the dung beetle, let's say he's specifically wrapped up in logistics. What isn't working the way he wants it to work? Some commodity is not arriving the way that it should be arriving. Let's say the bees are in trouble. Let's say that for whatever reason, there's not enough flowers. So the bees aren't making enough honey. And they need to go figure out what's killing the flowers, and maybe there's a blight. All right. Not enough honey. Bee production low. Something is killing flowers. Maybe it's not a blight, but like a creature that can just be defeated by combat. Creature is ripping up flowers. Figure out what kind of a bee insurrection. Solidarity for sanitation. Not the bees. Bee insurrection. Maybe the bee queen wants to be held to the same prestige and standard as the ant queen. Maybe there's a competition between the bees and the ants. This is gonna like completely blow Charles and Lisa's minds. Like, why are we worried about insects? Because it's the Feywild and everything runs on insects. Question mark? Or what if bee queen and ant queen have a rivalry? Bandersnatch. Let's put that down there. Yep. Bandersnatch. I do not know the Snallygaster. Oh, we should put a Vorpal sword and a stone. Because that would be fun. What else can we do? We can have a lady lying in a lake distributing swords. It's a totally balanced system of government. What are other things I really loved from like different books and stuff? The Jabberwocky and kin are killing the flowers. Okay, I like that. Jabberwocky. Help, I'm being repressed. Yep. Patrick, that's amazing. I don't know. I love me a good pun. I'm your king. I didn't vote for you. Oh my god, yeah, Stephanie, you're not wrong. Let's put the killer bunny in there. Fun fact, I have a plushed animal of the black beast of from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It even roars when you pull the drawstring in its mouth. And when we go back to Scotland, whenever coronavirus stops, the cave where that was filmed is only 3 hours from the place that we're planning on staying. So we're going to drive up there so I can take a picture of my black beast of Arg in that cave. And I'm really, really excited. Oh, I have a husband. Hi, husband.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Just wanted to come for a kiss.
Okay. I like that plan. Take him with you. Saxion, gotta go out. Good boy. Oh yeah, the white rabbit. Something from the Discworld is a great idea too, Joe. You're not wrong. What do we want from the Discworld? Oh my goodness. There's so much. The luggage. Guys, can we have the luggage from the Discworld? And yeah, the bunny will totally be stupid fluffy because he's got to look innocent and disarming. Discworld is a series of books by Sir Terry Pratchett, who has unfortunately passed away. They are hysterical. I love them. And they're so called the Discworld series because the premise is the world is a flat disc that travels on the back of 4 elephants that travel on the back of a giant sea turtle that soars itself through space. And it is totally fabulous. Some of the best writing that I've ever read. He's a brilliant satiricist. He's an absolutely incredible observer of human nature. And his humor is so, so, so good. Oh, you know what we could also have from Terry Pratchett is the Knack McFeagle. That would be a good and easy one to pick. Yeah, the luggage for sure. I have all of the books, Stephanie, because I'm obsessed. And there are so many books. He's a very prolific author in his prime. Sapient pearwood. What about a whole grove of sapient pearwood? And that's always made me wonder, does that mean there are sapient pears? Like, what would a sapient pear be like? Of course you can read one. Did you guys ever know an artist named Ursula Vernon? She did a portrait a long, long time ago, like probably late 90s, early 2000s, of the biting pear of Salamanca, and it's fabulous. It made me very happy. Yeah, Guards is super good. Super good. I also really love Making Money or Going Postal, although those are like much later in his catalog. My favorite though is Small Gods. I very much, when I was still teaching, wanted to teach a class on religion and humor, and I wanted Small Gods to be one of the texts that we examined, because it's just hysterical, especially if you're someone with my background. It's so funny. It's what the trees of Oz are made from. Okay, I dig that. Maybe there are flying monkeys from Oz. Cannot spell today, my god. Monkeys. I still got that wrong, I'm sure. Sapient orchards. Yep. Yep. We should have some fungal forests. And some humanoid funguses like Zan from Farscape. Mort is also very good. Yep. I agree. There's just, I don't think I've ever run into a book by Pratchett that I didn't like. Some of them I didn't understand until I'd read like the original source material, like Eric. I didn't really understand until I had read Faust. But once I'd read Faust, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Masquerade, I didn't really understand until I knew the story of the Phantom of the Opera more properly. Weird Sisters, of course, is that play, which I guess I should not name. Yeah, he does a lot of references, so if you know the references, you understand it more. But he's still very accessible, even if you don't get all the references. What else can we do? Oh, you know what else would be great is the mathematician camels from Terry Pratchett in the desert setting. That would be good. The mushrooms are in conflict with the insects. I like that. There should probably be some unicorns, just because. I think I want to use the unicorns from the Obsidian trilogy by Terry Pratchett and not Terry Pratchett, Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. They're a warrior culture. I like the idea of that. That's fun. I can name the play as long as I'm not starring in it. Okay, perfect. I like that plan. So yeah, Macbeth then. Or sorry, Hamlet, Macbeth. I can't remember which one we're talking about now. The Whomping Willow. I like that. I think we need a pseudo dragon. I have a variety of other dragons peppered into the list. The Phantom Toll Booth. I haven't read that in forever, Uncharted. I would need you to give me a refresher. A Death Spider. Okay, I like that. Like Death Spider, like Shelob from Lord of the Rings, because that's an awesome idea. Norbert. Oh yeah, Norbert. A wandering merchant selling everything, including children. I like that. And vice versa. Okay, I will put that in there. Don't recognize each other's sentience. I like that. That's good. I want them to try and find a dragon's horde, but have it be a horde mimic. Because I have stats for a horde mimic. Ooh, griffins. Yep, I like that. Do you think a fairy godmother is like too pat for the Feywild? Okay. A man on the other side of the street sees the party and dramatically runs away. Why is he running? And see, I do feel that it might be too much as well. So the dragon is an illusion. The dragon is not there. It looks like an unguarded horde. But then the horde itself is a bunch of mimics. Or like, is a mimic. There's stats for it in the Tome of Beasts. Phantom Tollbooth, the queens of rhyme and reason are the dual rulers of the world in conflict. Oh, that's kind of lovely. I enjoy that. Mermaids are a good one. Let's have mermaids. You need to define FGM for me. That means something not at all enjoyable. So I would like to know a different use for it. That sounds really fun, Joe. I'm reading a book right now called, what is it called? The Library of the Unwritten. And it's a similar kind, no, not really a similar premise, but it reminds me of it in that all of the unwritten books in the world are part of Hell's library, and they're guarded by a librarian, and it's dangerous if they aren't properly managed because they try to break out back into the world and get to their authors. And it's really fascinating. It's just such a fun premise. But at one point, there's a duel between the head librarian and a former head librarian, and they use lines from various bits of um, writing to kind of spell points on each other. It's really fun. Really, really fun. To get Stinger and Mithril Short. Yeah, totally. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. Mermaids, library warriors who reach into books for weapons and armor. A fairy begging for fairy dust. Harry Potter mermaids. The Unseen University, like that's an option. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Not that I think they'll fall for it, but what about basically ripping off the storyline of the Hogfather where the tooth fairies start going missing and it's because somebody is trying to kill off something else using the sympathetic magic of the children's teeth. I mean, that would be really complex and completely to the side of the main storylines that I have brewing here, but it'd be something to keep in my back pocket. Oh, Fairy Godmother. I follow you now, Uncharted. For sure. For sure. You want to remain ignorant of the other use. It's not pleasant at all. But yeah. An unemployed fairy godmother. Some hags are always an option. The orangutan librarian. Yep. A water weird might be good. What are booklings, Patrick? Your back pocket must have an undetectable engorgement charm like Hermione's bag. There's artifacts that kind of cover that off. I think if I understand what you mean, Joe, called bags of holding, and my players each have one at this point, so they are good for holding that kind of stuff. The Google. Yep. I was thinking of using the Wild Hunt and kind of basing it off of Kelly Armstrong's hunt in the Canesville series because I thought that might be good. A fairy named Google who's a know-it-all. I love it. I love it. So fairy named Google. Oh, lots of ideas in your back pocket. I like the idea of, like, your back pocket each having, like, an extra bardic inspiration in it, just because you tuck those things away. What about, like, something building on, like, save it for a rainy day? Yeah, that's a bag of holding, for sure. For sure, for sure. Okay, so rainy weather. That brings on a boon. Saved it for a rainy day. Idea. Stephanie, that's amazing. Google Fairy cuts you off trying to predict what you're gonna say. That's awesome. It would be so annoying. Catch a raindrop in your pocket. That is not something I've ever heard before. What a lovely phrase. I don't know what the booklings are, Patrick. What did I miss? Oh, I missed your reply is what I missed. I'm sorry. Just a second. Let me scroll here. Pixies who dwell in libraries critiquing and correcting the books as they recall the facts. I love that. I love that. I love that. Let's just put that straight into my civilized list. 15, Patrick's booklings. Sorry, darling. The chat was just moving pretty quickly. I saw it. You did not fail. I just missed it. I'm sorry. I love that. That's so awesome. Yeah, I'd never heard that before, Laura. That's really interesting. It's a song. Okay. Okay, so the insects are trying to remove all of the signs. Maybe that's a different faction. Maybe that's the termites. And they don't want to see the land spoiled. Oh, do you know what might be interesting? Again, going back to Terry Pratchett to the Tiffany Aching books, is the dromes that were in um, the very first book. That might be interesting. So what other kinds of geography could we have? We have a hedge maze, we have orchards, we have desert oases. We have a swamp, goblins. I do have a lot of Pratchett, Joe. I have, I think, almost everything. To Tina Fey. I don't have anything jungle-like. For some reason, I have a hard time picturing the Fae and the jungle together. Why is that? That might be really interesting. Perhaps the Fae fear the jungle. So, remember how a couple of days ago, a couple of streams ago, we were talking about Agaton? Um, there is an idea that I'm broaching around. I'm going to have to put a warning on this for my players not to watch it again. About Agaton making some incursions into the Feywild to kind of start like digging up his own power to use on the prime material plane. And so I was thinking about trying to have ways that shows up while they're in the Feywild. And so that's something else that I've been kind of brainstorming on the sides of things too. Ruins of an old town, a plane of mirrors. Okay. I like both of those things. Ruins of an old town, plane of mirrors. The jungle fern gully. So it's all pixies and stuff. I kind of dig that. That would be fun. Okay. Plane of mirrors, past, present, future. I think there should be a grove or groves of giant trees, like sequoias. There should probably be Ents, because yes. Mirrors with an alternative past, present, future. Okay, so alternative I like that too, because then you can kind of see what happens if you'd gone down a different trouser leg of time. Puff the Magic Dragon's old cave. I love that. Where is my mimic? Where did I write this down? I did write this down, didn't I, you guys? There it is, Horde Mimic. Puff the Dragon. In Honolulu. So let's break off for that for a second and talk about the factions in the Feywild. All right, so we have the obvious summer court, which is the Sealy court. I'm pronouncing that incredibly incorrectly, I know. Winter court, the Unseelie. I want there to be upstart spring and autumn courts. Pushing for power. And the winter court is sundered, so there's two factions. The kings and the queens. So then we have the ants and the bees and the termites. There's also a shadow court that I think is outside of all of these. And then the dung beetles. So these are the insects. Represent what did we say? Logistics and what was it, guys? Logistics and what? Labor. There we go. I think there's also some kind of council for non-humanoid, non-Fey representatives to the courts. Hedgehog people. Kitsune. Were ravens. Etc. And I think there's like a group known as the uncivilized who forego cities and the courts completely, or try to. These are generally nomads. Tinkers. Gatherers. Wanderers. The barbarous. I think there should be bear people. So let's talk a little bit about the spring and autumn courts. Spring court. Ruled by a guy, a girl, a non-binary person, a pair, a trio. Let's talk about the rulership of the spring court. What do we think? Rulership. And objectives. A pair, okay. Why don't we have them be a pair of sisters? A pair of sister brownies, okay. A pair of brownie sisters. We need names. What kind of language do we want to use for names? Go back to my table of contents here. Welsh, okay. Page 47. How about one is Adarin and Bronwyn? And then a family name. Goodwin. How old are they? Mid-age, okay. Middle-aged. So let's say they're about 50. Roll. Okay, what are we rolling? Percentage out of 100 years? Nope, too low. Still too low. 93, that's pretty old. 60. Sure, we'll take 60. Yeah, D100. That's what we did. Okay, so they're 60. Are they twins? I think they might be twins. Maybe they are the surviving twins of a set of triplets. And the triplet, we need another name. Leo, L-L-I-O, was killed in the attempted assassination on the Queen of Air and Darkness. Five years ago. Motivations. Spring wants power to be more distributed in case an assassination attempt on one of the queens is ever successful. Feel current power balance is too unstable. Okay. Secondary motivation, want revenge on Winter Court for not guaranteeing the safety of its ambassadors. What kind of revenge do they want, though? I don't think they want, like, violent revenge. I think they want, like, political revenge. Diminished power. Okay. Prison is worse than death. Because of boredom? Because of why? Lack of freedom? They seek revenge for perceived slight. Well, I think they were pretty definitely slighted if their sibling was killed in the midst of this. What if they're really like hyper vigilant now? Like you're not allowed to wear weapons in their house. Spellcasters have to agree to like wear a pendant that suppresses magic. Stuff like that. Okay, so prison is worse than death because they lose their freedom. Lose autonomy. Freedom. Authority without responsibility. Yeah, for sure. Spring is hypervigilant. No weapons. All magic users must be temporarily stilled via artifact in order to meet with rulers. Death has changed, prison is atrophy. I like that. Prison equals atrophy. Death equals change. I like that. I like that. That's good. All right. Spring is hypervigilant, but they're also very hospitable. They're welcoming of strangers. And constantly looking for new allies to bolster their power. Okay. Let's talk about autumn for a bit. Who's the rulership of autumn? Male, okay. Single male. Oberon and Titania. I don't really have them as figures right now because I'm worried that if I take them on and don't play them according to the Shakespeare aspect of things, I'm going to feel really weird about it. They've been demoted from the High Summer Court. Oh, okay. Well, maybe that makes that more interesting to me. Oberon and Titania demoted from High Summer Court. Yeah, let's just choose different names because that's going to make me feel more comfortable. Okay, be safe, Laura. Let's pick different names here. What language do we want for the names, you guys? Roll for it. Okay, let me just get my chart here. 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 6, 7, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Medieval Norwegian. Oh, 51. Polish. Page 101. All right. How about Albright? Albrycht. And no, can't do that. Leokada. Leokadia. Iran and Taliesin I have trouble with because they are, I believe, again, Welsh. Iran is the lord of the afterlife, and Taliesin I forget right now. So again, I want to be careful about invoking that when I don't intend to follow through with the mythology. They were demoted from the High Summer Court. They are seeking a restoration of their power and position. Why were they demoted? Demoted because I'm assuming it was some kind of slight because the Fae are all big on that. They were involved in the plot. Oh, to overthrow Winter. Okay. They backed the plot to kill Mob and got caught. The issue wasn't that they tried to back the plot. The issue was that they got caught. Lacked subtlety. Okay. Yeah, to fuck with each other is one thing, but to destroy each other is something else. Yeah, because the balance has to be maintained. So this means if summer was kind of looking for a way to make this change, that winter has been ascendant for a while. Perfect. This lines up really well with some other stuff that I'm planning. Perfect, 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 perfect. Out of balance because Moonlit King. Okay, perfect. So what did winter do to provoke summer? That is something that I want to get into, but I feel like I shouldn't, just on the off chance that my players decide that they are going to watch this video on me. I don't think they will, but I don't know that for sure. But yeah. I guess I should like cover that line just in case, although a little bit late to be out of the bag now. So what did winter do to provoke summer? Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a question of who from the outside influenced summer to betray winter. Like, I think, whatever, I'm just going to talk about it. And if my players are listening, then too bad, they've spoiled the game for themselves. So, what I was thinking of in terms of the factionalism that's going on is that there was a married couple ruling the Winter Court. And the married couple was the Queen of Air and Darkness and the Moonlit King. And he was cast aside by her as a consort and sought recourse to powers who were greater than him to give him the magic to take his revenge on her. And the power that he sought out ended up being Agaton, who is the being that we were working on a couple of streams ago. He's a warlock, he's a devil, and he's got a fair amount of power from his patron. And he's been going around granting additional power as a patron to other people in an attempt to kind of grow his influence because he wants to start a war on the material plane. So in my idea, he's been coming through the Feywild trying to find a more reliable set of portals into the material plane because he's having a hard time breaching the material from where he currently is. And so he's working with the Moonlit King to try and destabilize things here. And the Moonlit King just wants his power to be able to try to regain his throne. So the Moonlit King is in exile. He has a shadow court with him that went into exile with him. And the Winter Court is currently fighting a lot. And Summer is in a position to take advantage of this right now. I'd like to think that Albric and Leokida were manipulated by Agaton as well to kind of set this up and kind of implicate everybody is kind of my thing. There is an Infernal Pyramid scheme. I don't know if you were here for that that stream, Uncharted. Just a second. Let me find the notes. It literally, I drew a pyramid. Like, you are not wrong. And I think I must have passed it. Patrick, you're probably just like grinding your teeth at me flipping back and forth in this book. Yep, because I don't know where it is. All right, so much for that. It's around here somewhere. My goodness, you guys, we've been writing a lot lately. It's pretty awesome. There is an infernal pyramid scheme, though. Completely. That is a thing. Oh my goodness, you guys, we're at an hour and a half already. That's awesome. You're not wrong, Uncharted. You're not wrong. Well, I think this seems like a pretty natural pause point for me. I'm kind of out of ideas and really desperately want a second cup of coffee. So I think let's call it for today. And I don't know if I'm going to stream again tomorrow or not. I think it kind of depends on where I'm at. I've got a commission I need to finish over the next 2 days. So I may need that time tomorrow, depending on how things go today. I will for sure be streaming again next week, though. And yeah, that's kind of my plan. I am off to do my thing. Patrick, I'll have a look at that PDF that you sent over once I have my coffee situation sorted out. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. There were 7 of us on the stream today, and that's like a super high number for me. So that was really awesome, and I feel very flattered that you came to spend time. So, all right, my darlings, I'm going to go, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you later, okay? Bye.